welcome to my channel. Thank you guys so much for being here, joining me today. You guys know that I have always kind of shared with you my plant struggles and kind of kept you updated on the plants that I was struggling with. So I thought that it would be kind of fun to do like a video every month where we look back on the plants that I was struggling with the previous months and talk about them and see how they're doing now. And if I have any other plants that I'm struggling with, any newer plants I'm struggling with, I can share those with you guys, and then we can just kind of keep an update on those plants monthly and keep adding more in, because let's face it, I'm always struggling with something. So with that being said, that's what this video is going to be. So I'm not sure what I'm going to title the video yet, but if you're watching this, then I'm sure you already know. So I have a few plants here that struggled with the black leaf spot. They're all back out of quarantine, setting with the rest of my plants now. So I just wanted to show you those really quickly and how they're doing. I have some other plants that were struggling with root rot. And yeah, I have quite a few things to share with you guys. So without further ado, let's jump right into it and look at some plants. So I know that you guys may have seen a few of these plants in my most recent houseplant tour. So we're just going to kind of skim over them. I know you haven't seen my peperomias yet because that'll be in part 3 of the tour. But yeah. I do have a mic coming, so it will be here next week. So if my sound quality is crap, I'm so sorry. Thank you guys for sticking it out and continuing to come back to my videos. I really appreciate it. I should have gotten a mic a long time ago, but I finally got on it, found the right one, the one that I want to try, and like I said, it'll be here next week. You should be able to hear me much better very soon. So here in front of me, you will see 3 peperomia. Now, my raindrop peperomia was also involved in this black leaf spot issue, and it lost a lot of its leaves, but I already showed you that in my plant tour, so I'm not going to pull him down right now. But these are basically my ripple peperomias, and they all were setting together, and they all had a really bad case of bacterial issues. So this one I'm particularly happy about because I raised this little Peperomia frost from a tiny unrooted single leaf cutting. I rooted it and it had grown into a really full, bushy, beautiful plant, and it was blooming. It was just so happy. So I'm really happy that I was able to save this one. And as you can see, basically the only leaves left on this plant is all new growth. But I'm just happy that it's alive, period. So this is my little variegated peperomia unknown from Ecuador, and he looks really crazy right now because he's just lost so much of his foliage. But I'm also really proud of this guy, and he also has lots of new leaves coming in the pot. This peperomia was probably the least affected out of all of them, and this is my burgundy ripple, I believe it's called, or red ripple. So this one actually did not lose nearly as many leaves as the other ones. But he also has new growth and he's doing well. And guys, I know that these peperomia are not necessarily expensive or difficult to get a hold of. They're not hard to find at all. But honestly, I feel like I form connections with my plants, which may not be that healthy, I don't know. But I get emotionally attached to them because I'm a weirdo, but it's fine. Here's my little Calathea white fusion that also had some serious issues going on. I lost my Calathea orbifolia, which broke my heart. It went immediately. I didn't even have time to treat it. It was just done with. And this one lost a lot of foliage, but you can see there's new growth point here, and there's a new leaf coming in here, and it actually just put off this new leaf. So I'm pretty happy this little guy's coming back. My little variegated Maranta baby had a couple leaves that were showing signs of black leaf spot, so I did treat him and quarantine him, And after I removed those leaves, I never seen any more signs of damage or bacteria forming on any more leaves. So I'm not really sure if he actually had it, but he's got lots of new leaves. He's doing really good. Look how pretty those leaves are. He's adorable. So I figured I would throw him in the shot really quick. I lost my Alocasia caprea, Red Secret. I don't know, there's a couple little like points on the nodes that look like they may turn into leaves one day, but I really don't think it's going to come back until spring, if at all. So if anyone has any tips on overwintering this guy, please let me know, because I truly loved this plant and it was doing so good for me up until that point. But he had mealybugs and then the black leaf spot issues, so I think he just had enough, and that last leaf just had to make its way out. So here we are, this is what we're left with. My Rhaphidophorus still looks the same as in my last couple of videos where I talked about him. He has no leaves, but he does have a leaf point forming, so we'll see what happens there. Since we were talking about Alocasia, so I know that I had mentioned that I thought that a couple of my Alocasia were going dormant, and believe it or not, my Zebrina, I moved them all into brighter light and they all started to grow. So this is the newest leaf on my Alocasia Zebrina. It just put this out like last week, I think, or over the last week. Look how beautiful that is. So pretty. Same thing with my Regal Shield. Now it's obviously losing a leaf, but here's his newest cute little leaf. Yay! So I guess these guys really just needed more light. My Black Velvet is also putting off a new leaf. This one hasn't given me a new leaf in quite a while, so I'm really anxious to see what this one's going to look like. I loved Black Velvet. It's so beautiful. The leaves are just so velvety and the texture is really interesting. The backs of the leaves are beautiful as well. And really quick, wanted to show you my variegated lipstick plant, because I included him on the list of plants I was really struggling with. Well, I started bottom watering this plant, and ever since then he has started growing so much. He's become so healthy and I'm really proud of him. So gorgeous, or her I should say. I really get female vibes from this plant. And then my Mona Lisa that I potted in here had died off, and look at it, it's grown back really nicely. Look how many growth points. This guy is also underneath of my grow light, so it's really loving that, I think. But it's so pretty, so I'll forever be bottom watering my lipstick plants. Also wanted to show you, so I noticed a week ago, that my Monstera Peru was putting off not one, but 2 new leaves, right? Look at this one, it's finally unfurling. How cute is that? But look what I found a couple days ago. It's putting off 3 new freaking leaves. Can you even believe it? I am so stoked about this plant. So I just wanted to share this one with you too. Now let's move on to our root rot victims. Okay? I will probably talk about this plant for like the whole year of 2020. I don't know. I'm never going to get over it, I don't think. My painted lady has fully rooted. She has given me this new leaf, which is absolutely beautiful. And she's working on another new leaf right here. She is amazing. She's probably ready to be potted up in some soil, but because she's so happy, I'm just not going to tick her off, and we're not going to go there right now because she's looking fine. She's looking fabulous. So we don't want to piss her off, right? my Florida Ghost Mint that arrived to me with a little bit of root rot after the Pink Princess arrived to me with a lot of root rot. I was able to remove most of his rotted roots, if you remember. And since then, he put off this sweet little leaf. And he's now putting off this little leaf. And there's another one right here poking out as well. A little tiny one. It's so pretty. I love him. Okay. Here we go. I finally decided to give the Ziploc bag propagation method a try after seeing Maya, or is it Maya or Myra? Maya from BB Plants. Yeah, she basically raves about this method, especially specifically for Hoyas, but I figured why not give it a go with a few different types of plants and see how it went. I put this Pink Princess in here on New Year's Day on the 1st, because she was living in the moss outside of the bag, but she wasn't growing roots really, and she wasn't dying, but she wasn't doing anything. She wasn't progressing, I guess I should say. So she's been in here for a couple weeks now, and every day or every other day I'll open the bag and I'll just kind of spritz it with water, filtered water, distilled water, and I'll blow air back into it and zip it back up. Check it out, guys. Since I put this little cutie in the Ziploc bag, she has put off this adorable little baby leaf here. Literally within like 5 days of being in the bag, this new leaf started to poke out of the stem. So she's loving it. I haven't pulled her back out to check on her roots yet. I'll probably wait another week or so after this leaf has fully pushed out and is good to go, and then I'll probably pull her out and check on her roots just to see if they're doing anything yet. But we do know that she's happy by pushing out that new leaf, so I'm pretty excited about that. And then I just have some soil setting on the bottom of the bag, some lightly dampened soil. So in here we have a Hoya. Let me just explain really quickly. So I decided to get super cocky with it a couple months ago. I was like, you know, I really don't need to use my moisture meter that much. I was like, no. Especially with my terracotta pots, I can tell by looking and feeling the soil or lifting up the pot whether or not my plant needs watered, right? So I was basically just using my moisture meter for like my ceramic pots or my larger pots where it's harder to tell. And that was a big mistake. Big mistake. Should have never done that. I should have continued using my moisture meter like I have been for the last almost year, but I didn't, and that's where I started having problems because I thought these plants were completely dry and I overwatered them. I started noticing a slight decline in my Hoya macrophylla, and I decided to pull it out, and there was a little bit of root rot going on one of the stems in particular. The other still seemed fine. But so I removed that piece from the plant. I removed the roots from this piece. I still have a healthy part of the plant up there, but I'm trying to reroot this part. Nothing yet. This one's only been in here for, I don't know, maybe a week. I'm really not sure. But we will see what happens. I mean, I still have Hoya macrophylla, so, but I would like to save this piece of it if I can. And it's just laying in here in soil. A very airy, barky soil mix. Guys, does anyone want to guess what this is? Anybody? I look over my grungy nails. Ugh. This is my Hoya Rebecca. or what's left of her. And I didn't do this, okay? She arrived with root rot, and I've just been trying literally everything in my power to save her, but her leaves just kept dropping like flies. And as a last attempt, I put what was left of the plant, there was only a few leaves left, into some sphagnum moss and into a Ziploc bag, and it just continued to rot. The stem was rotting, the leaves were molding. I even tried leaving the bag unzipped. It died. It's gone. It's completely gone. So I am left with this stick, and let me tell you, it completely broke my heart. I'm still really sad about this because that was a really big wish list Hoya for me. I was so excited to have it. It wasn't super cheap, and it was a beautiful full plant that I was sent. I'm just bummed about it. So when spring comes around, I will be purchasing this plant again because, I mean, I want it in my collection. But I think after this experience, I've had pretty good experiences with ordering this time of year, honestly, but I have had a couple plants that just didn't fare too well, you know, in the days after unboxing them, and that's probably just from the cold temperatures. So I have put a hold on ordering plants until it warms up, definitely, because it just isn't worth it. Like, yeah, most of the time, if it's from a reputable seller and they package well, then you're probably going to receive a plant that's fine, but sometimes plants just don't fare well when it's that cold, and you never know. So no more mail orders for me, at least not pricey ones, until it warms up, because you're spending good money on these plants and you don't want it to be money wasted, right? Here we have a plant that I literally just placed in this Ziploc bag today, so this morning, because I'm not really seeing any roots forming. So this is my Scindapsus tribii Moonlight that I overwatered when I decided I didn't need to use the moisture meter any longer. So dumb. So I did pull this out and I put it in this pot. It was in this really skinny, crammed down in this little really skinny glass vessel. Wasn't really doing much, so I put it in here so maybe some oxygen can actually get up there to encourage root growth, because roots do need oxygen, so that could be a problem. Now whenever I pulled this out, there was a couple tiny little roots poking out from the node. Just nothing crazy, not what I would expect for as long as this has been in moss. I did have this setting back here really close to my grow light. I think it kind of got turned a little bit into the grow light, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened here. It just burnt the leaf because it was right up on that hot light. I'm not sure, but since I do have other plants doing well in the Ziploc baggie, I figured why not try it with this guy. So we will keep tabs on this plant and see how he's faring here in a few weeks. But yeah, it's all a learning experience. You win some, you lose some, and you experiment and see what works for you, what doesn't work for you. That's what it's all about, right? This is the Rhaphidophora tetrasperma that I ordered and unboxed with you guys from Gabriella Plants. It looked perfect whenever I received it, but if you remember, there was soil all over the leaves. The next day, like literally when I woke up, I looked at this plant and all of the leaves had turned black. I'll insert a picture somewhere on the screen and show you what I'm talking about. And it actually worsened after I took that picture. So the following day they were completely black. And I had to remove all of the leaves except for this one little tiny fenestrated leaf, which seems to be doing really good. It's fine. But you know, Gabriella Plants, of course, replaced the plant. They sent me another one. They said that they're now taking like extra caution when it comes to packaging this plant, and they packaged it better. That way the soil wouldn't spill out so bad. And whenever I opened it, there was hardly any soil loss at all. There really wasn't any soil on the leaves. And it looked really good. So I've had this one for 4 or 5 days now. It's fine, it's healthy. If you see this little black tip right here on this leaf, you guys are gonna think I'm an idiot, but that's 100% my fault. I was cleaning off my plant shelf over there, and I set this plant down on my counter beside of a burning candle, and this leaf was like literally over top of the flame of the candle, and I burn it. So I literally burn it with fire. But other than that, I mean, it's healthy, and there's a new leaf on the way right here. You can see that. So I'm eventually going to pot these together, because why not? But I'm really happy with these little raffies. Here we have my sad little Philo mammy. I still have no idea how to pronounce the name of this plant. But I decided, because it was doing so poorly and it hadn't pushed off this leaf, it's had it there for months and it just never pushed it out, I decided to get into the pot and look at the roots. The roots did not look great at all. They looked pretty crappy, actually. So I removed some of those nasty looking roots, and I decided to give this girl a go in sphagnum moss, since I've had some pretty great success with it thus far, especially with my philodendron. So that's what we're doing now. This is my final attempt at rescuing her, and it really should have been done a long time ago, because she's been sad for months. So I really should have attempted to, try this method a couple months back, but I didn't, and she hasn't really gotten worse. She just hasn't gotten better. She hasn't done anything at all. So maybe this will make her happy. Maybe this will improve her health and she'll end up pushing that leaf out. Who knows? But we'll keep you updated on this little philodendron as well. Now, I'm not really struggling too much with any new plants besides the ones I've already shared with you, obviously. But I was just talking about in a previous video how my begonias, sometimes get a powdery mildew on them, and that's just kind of a common issue with owning begonias. But I hadn't seen any powdery mildew since over the summer, and all of my begonias were recovered really well and growing back really well. Well, I'm gonna insert a picture of what I discovered on this beautiful little pink flamingo, like literally a day or so after filming my houseplant tour. So it had a crispy leaf right here, but that's all it appeared to be. It was just a little bit of crisping. And then a couple days ago I noticed that it was turning white. There was a white powdery film on it. So I immediately knew what that was, and I pulled this plant and cut that leaf off, and I treated her with my mildew cure. And then I started noticing the plant from the potted elephant, the begonia, from the potted elephant, that was doing excellent. It was doing so good. It was dropping leaves, and I seen what I think may be the powdery mildew starting on it. Now I have my fan blowing. The begonias set really close to each other, so like there's mold spores, and if there's a fan or any type of air circulation, it'll literally pick up the mold spores and blow it over onto the leaves of another begonia plant, and you have powdery mildew on several plants. That plant, I've removed a few leaves. It's doing okay. It still has new growth and everything, but it's in quarantine at the moment because I don't know what's going on. This one's fine. I don't see any powdery mildew on this one aside from that one leaf. So I think that she's, fine. I think I caught it in time, but let me know if you guys would like to see a video on begonia care, or how I treat the powdery mildew. I know I've kind of went over it. I've discussed it a little bit. I've kind of touched on it a little bit in videos previously, but I can definitely do a care video on that. we'll keep tabs on these guys. Wish them luck. I have to share this really quick. My Syngonium chipens. Honestly, most plants, especially this time of year when I'm receiving plants in the mail, they take their time to acclimate to my home before they actively start growing, right? Typically at least a month, sometimes longer, after I open them and unbox them. They'll just kind of be at a standstill for at least a month or so, and then, you know, they typically start growing. I haven't even had this for 2 weeks yet. I think it's been right at 2 weeks, and already there's a new leaf poking up. So that is so exciting. So I just had to share because when I seen that, my jaw dropped. I couldn't believe it. I love this little plant so much. Okay guys, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this type of content and just kind of checking up on the plants that we've seen struggle a little bit, or seeing how plants are acclimating to my home after unboxing them with you guys. We'll check back in with a few of these plants and probably some others next month. Hope you guys are having a great new year thus far. I can't believe it's 2020. This is gonna be a great year. I can feel it in my bones. I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.